In 1829, Martin Harris mortgaged this farm north of Palmyra Village to pay for the printing of the first edition of the Book of Mormon. The original Harris house burned down in 1849. The home you can see here today was built in 1850 using stone from Lake Ontario. Martin first became acquainted with Joseph Smith Sr. and his son Hiram in 1824 when he hired them to dig a rock well on his property. Young Joseph Jr. worked in these fields at 50 cents a day.
Living in Palmyra Township, close to the Smiths, Martin heard rumors regarding young Joseph Jr. and the claims of gold plates. In time, Martin further investigated these rumors by speaking with the Smiths and learned from them concerning the truth regarding the coming forth of the Book of Mormon. In 1828, Martin Harris provided financial aid in the amount of $50 to the prophet Joseph Smith, enabling him to travel to Harmony, Pennsylvania, where he could translate the plates without harassment from the citizens of Palmyra. In February 1829, Martin traveled to Harmony to take some characters that Joseph had copied from the plates to scholars in New York City. While there, he visited with Professor Charles Anthon and Dr. Samuel L. Mitchell, who attempted to translate the characters and declared the characters as true and the translation as correct. After returning to Harmony, Pennsylvania with these scholars' assessment, Martin assisted the prophet Joseph as his scribe in the translation of the Book of Mormon. Eventually, Martin wrote 116 pages of translation.
After repeatedly pressuring the prophet to allow him to show the manuscript to his wife, Martin brought the manuscript back to this farm in Palmyra.
Now, although Martin had covenanted to show the manuscript only to his wife and 4 other family members, he broke that solemn promise, showing it to others, and somehow lost possession of it.
And it was in the original house on this site that Martin searched in vain for the lost manuscript.
When the fateful day came that Joseph traveled to Palmyra to inquire concerning the manuscript, he sent for Martin to come to the Smith home. Soon the Harris house was a scene of a hopeless search for the manuscript, but all of Martin's frantic efforts and inquiry of his wife yielded nothing. Eventually, Martin Harris humbled himself and repented of his wickedness in breaking his solemn promise regarding the lost manuscript. On August 25, 1829, Martin mortgaged 240 acres of his farm as security to pay $3,000 for the printing of 5,000 copies of the Book of Mormon. Proceeds from the sale of the book were to pay for the publishing. If the money could not be raised within 18 months by selling copies of the Book of Mormon, Martin Harris agreed to deed a sufficient amount of his farm to pay the debt. Naturally, Martin was concerned about losing his farm. The Lord commanded Martin, "Thou shalt not covet thine own property, but impart it freely to the printing of the Book of Mormon. Impart a portion of thy property, yea, even part of thy lands, and all save the support of thy family. Pay the debt thou hast contracted with the printer. Release thyself from bondage."
In Joseph Smith's time, as well as today, it's the publisher, not the author, that takes on the financial liability for the printing of the book. And so Joseph Smith had invested nothing in it in terms of financial resources, so he wasn't going to lose anything himself if the book wasn't going to sell. But Grandin needed a guarantee, so Grandin was able to take on the job because he had a guarantee up front that should the book not sell, and it didn't sell, he would still be guaranteed his part of the project, because Martin Harris's farm would go up for mortgage and Grandin would receive the proceeds of that, and that's precisely what happened.
The citizens near Palmyra voted to boycott purchasing the Book of Mormon. When the mortgage on Martin's farm fell due, there was no money from the sale of the book to pay it. Martin sold 151 acres of the family farm to pay the debt, which included the farm home that he had built earlier in his married life.
Martin's wife Lucy did not approve of his involvement in publishing the Book of Mormon and left him, taking their children with her. When the Lord commanded the New York Saints to move to Ohio, Martin was obedient. Now alone in 1831, he moved from his family farm and started a new life in Kirtland, Ohio.